Hello everybody, welcome to Joe Weedon Melbourne scrapbooking presentation at the moment, my first one for the year. So thank you if you're here or if you're joining me later and watching what's going on. That is amazing. Leave me a comment, share. I'd love to hear from you. So I thought I've teased you a little bit in relation to my scrapbooking pages that I'm looking at doing. And as you know, I've recently come back from a trip to Queensland where hubby and I caravanned, and I picked up the photos this morning. So here we go, 250 photos. And I thought that I wouldn't need to bore you with going through the order of each photo and where we were and what we did and all that sort of thing. So I've gone ahead and done that, and I've grouped them according to the nights that we stayed, where we were and what we did, and therefore there was a little bit of order with the photos. So they're all ready to go. My biggest challenge now is trying to work out in what order to create, whether I start from the start and keep going, or what I do. So I thought I'd show you, apart from organising the order of those particular photos, what I also did was I wrote a list of the places we stopped at, camped, so that I sort of had an order, because even though we drove to each place, and the main place obviously was we stopped at Coffs Harbour for a week and then the Gold Coast, I wanted to have an idea of where we stopped on the way, either for drinks or to camp one night for the drivers to have a rest. So I've written all that down so that then I can collate the photos in the right order. I have been inspired by this particular scrapbooking pack or kit. I think it's really gorgeous. I haven't actually had a look at it properly, so I thought I'd do that with you and just sort of let you know as I check through things. I will add some little comments and stuff. So this I purchased through the scrapbooking brochure, which is actually a PDF, but I've printed it off. And so it's here on page 18. Every day, you and me. I kind of thought that might be a really appropriate one. And I really liked the colours that are in it, simply because we obviously went to the beach quite a bit. And therefore I thought it would work really well. So these colours are grey granite, lost to lagoon, mossy meadow, pretty peacock, very vanilla, and wild wheat. So given that we're going across the Australian landscape, wild wheat was certainly something I wanted to incorporate. Reminds me of me growing up just out of Benalla at a little place called Gurumba, where they had wheat fields and silos and that sort of thing. Although I do think the wild wheat from America, as in the cardstock, is slightly darker than what I recall it. So with this kit, you may have seen on some other presentations that you get really wonderful instructions. So this is for 3 layouts that show you really clearly how it all happens. And what I especially love, you get all of the measurements. And then this particular feature here, I really like. So if you have a look here, it shows you the actual layout with all the photos that are done. But then down the bottom, it's kind of faded out the photos, but it then has the detailed pieces on the back of it as well. Rather than putting that information on the printed photo, I think it's really good that it's kind of separate, and so it's not too overwhelming for people who need that step-by-step process to be shown. I think it works really well. I think it's a really clever design from Stampin' Up to create like that. And of course, you know, you can change it if you wanted to turn the page around, or if you wanted to flip it, for example, you can do all of that, absolutely. I just think it's a really great technique. It also tells you, if I show you here, the materials that you'll need. So you obviously need the kit, you'll need stamping pads, which is optional, obviously, the Stampin' Write marker if you're going to write, especially on photos. The markers are really good. Blending brushes, Stampin' Seal, which is adhesive, paper trimmer, and paper snips. But you can incorporate anything else. You can get the other inks in, you can add other colours, you can do a heap of things as well, certainly. I don't think I'm going to stick to those particular layouts. One, because it's only 3 layouts, and this kit obviously creates that. But I'm looking at probably cutting certain things up and utilising it that way. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. And given that I've got 250 photos, there's probably a chance I'm going to need more than just one kit. But I thought I'd buy it, see what I think, and then go from there. So the other really interesting thing in here I really like is these beautiful laser cut flowers. Let me get that glary envelope away. So these are really sweet. Hang on, let me move that so it might be a bit easier for you with the background. So here's the laser cut shapes, and they just push out really easily. And I especially love that you can build them up, obviously, if you like. You can use your blends and colour them in. You can directly place ink on them, or you can even stamp them directly onto the ink pad. I probably wouldn't do the later so much, simply because pushing these straight into the ink pad might actually absorb a lot of ink, which you might need necessarily, and you also don't want it to bleed, so you sort of want to be careful with that. But it is an option if that's what you wanted to do, absolutely. I did also think, and I don't know if it'll lend itself well, but I really like the idea of using the negative as well, but I don't quite know how you'll cut into the whole piece and do that. But, you know, I'll let you know. So I'm pretty excited. I think that's a really great thing. Or maybe not cutting individually, but you could certainly cut, once you've taken all of these pieces out, you can cut this in half, for example, and it could be, you know, a border on the end of a page, for example, because it's got the details and everything in it. So let's have a look at the rest here. I'm going to sit down, and I apologise if you can hear the dog snoring in the background. Clearly this doesn't excite him. So here's the designer paper pack, which is exclusive. So pretty exciting that you get to use these, and you know, it's not available to everybody because obviously these kits last only for a short period of time. Well, I'm liking that one, maybe for a beach scene or something. I think that's really lovely. You know, and some of these you could find really quite busy, and that's where you get to, you know, you can cut it up, or you can put a whitewash ink over the top, for example, or vellum. Putting vellum over will just, excuse me, will just soften it a little bit. Oh, did I look the other side? No, I didn't. Ah, there you go. So you see, you know, Stampin' Up is all about coordination. So the fact that you've got these little rosettes here, and then you've got the rosettes on here also, I think are really wonderful. The other thing you could certainly do, and I'll just punch, oh, where's that piece I punched out? Oh, here. What you could also do, if you wanted to, is while you're using your sponges or whatever to colour this, you can actually place that on. So for example, you might place that on here, do the sponging over the top, and then you actually get the imprint on here as well, essentially like a mask. I think that's a really great way to use your products as well. And it extends the use of them. Yeah, especially because, you know, I've had some customers tell me that they're not happy with the pricing of the kit. I completely understand that. But if you're utilising it in this manner, then you're actually extending the use of them as well. So here you go, you've got on the back of this one is plain white, which, you know, that could work certainly. You could do your sponging, or you could do large lettering or journaling for that sort of thing. Like, white space doesn't always mean do nothing. It actually means add to it. Oh, I like the subtlety of this one. Look at that. That's really nice. There you've got another white one. And then, oh, see, so there you go. I didn't even see that. This one's actually listed as Project 3 on the back of it as well. So what you can actually do is take this out, undo this, and so then you have 2 pages. So one will use the external part and one will do the internal. And these, at first I thought they were stickers, but they're not. They're just sort of a thin paper, which allows you to prop them up. You can use your dimensionals, for example, or you can build it up on cardstock if you wanted to. These flowers are really great. Again, you could burnish the edges so then it sort of curls up. It really depends what you choose or how you choose to use them. And they're really easy, you know, for people who have their dexterity isn't super great. These are really easy to get out, or you could utilize a tool to sort of help you punch those pieces out. And then you have a couple of our 2-tone cardstock as well, which I just love. I think it's such a great product. Because you don't have to change a lot. You know, you just sort of add this bit of colour. It's almost like using Versamark on your cardstock. I think it's great. And you can see here how it all, you know, it all just works. You don't have to think about it. It just kind of, it works so easily. Okay. And then these ones, again, you could... you can change this up however you like. So this one is actually, these ones are stickers. There you go. So the other thing that I've learnt too with stickers, oh, I can't find my embossing pillow. Oh, there it is. Hang on. If you're not happy with the stickiness, as in you don't want it to stick, so perhaps you want it up on dimensionals. So what you can do is take your sticker off, use your Stampin' pillow, and then the embossing pillow, I beg your pardon, and just stamp over it, just sort of rub it, and it will actually, the product in this, the sort of flowery product as such, will adhere to the stickiness at the back of your sticker and remove that stickiness, and so therefore it will essentially just be a sentiment. So you can certainly do that. Because the worst thing you want to do is, you know, stick it onto dimensionals, for example, but if it's still sticky, then that means when you close your album, that sticker potentially will stick to the base and you'll get, you know, bumps in between the dimensionals, okay, especially if it's, you know, bigger pieces here. Oh yeah, it's great. Okay, and of course you always get this one as well that tells you the name of the product, and something that they introduced a little while ago were the various colours that are included in this kit in alphabetical order as well. That's really great. So let me bring this back in so that it's not just all on white. Something really clever here, and I'm not sure where this idea has come from. It may have been a close to my heart item. But it's just such a great idea that you get this white cardstock and it's a placeholder. So, for example, if I hadn't gone and printed the photos already and I wanted to manipulate them around or anything, I can put that there so that I know where the sentiment needs to go, because that's where my photo is going to be. Or if I know that I've got a number of, you know, pictures of landscape, for example, I can say, okay, I'm going to put that there, but my main photo will be this one. Am I happy with the balance? Is there something I prefer? Would a bigger size work better? You know, that kind of thing. So these are really wonderful. Other people have used these for the parts of journaling as well. Completely up to you as to what you use them for. Just a really great idea, I think. Actually, I'll leave this here because I want to show you an additional item that I purchased. I haven't played with yet, but I love the idea of. And these are called flip flaps. They're fantastic. So this is a packet of 12, And these ones are 3 inches by 3 inches, which is 7.6 centimetre square. And these are pockets, just simple clear pockets that have got an adhesive on them as well. So obviously the adhesive's on one side. And so if you had lots of information or lots of photos and you actually don't know, you don't want to get rid of them all, but you want to keep, you know, the relevant ones, obviously, what you can create is on top of your photo page, so you would have your protector over the top, you can then add this. So you take the seal off, adhere that there on top of the first photo. So you've got your protective sheet on. This goes over like that. And then this folds down. So then you have your photo in here and you can flip it. So that it means you're accessing more photos on the one page. The only thing I would say is obviously not putting too many because you don't want to bulk up your album too much. It could distort the following pages or the pages around. So just be aware of that. But I think it's got the real potential of just, you know, for someone like me with 250 photos, it's a great reason for to add more photos, or a great way to add more photos, or to add, you know, your scrapbooking ideas, journaling. Gosh, I can't talk. And I'll just put that into the pocket, which is wrong. Okay, there you go. So that comes in, as I said, that's the 7.6 centimetre, so 3 by 3, and then this one is 4 by 6, which here in Australia is our standard, so 10.2 by 15.2 centimetre photos. So if I show you, so here's one of the first photos that I've got of Brett and I driving off into the wilderness, first time away in a caravan for that length of time. Try not to get fingerprints on the photo. There we go. So if this photo was landscape, let's just move these around. If that's landscape, I could have one photo here, and then this is going to sit like that on the page, actually, obviously on the cover. Do it like that, and then that flips up so that there's photos underneath that can be accessed as well. I just think it's such a cute idea. I'm really excited to give that a go. You know, I've got lots of photos of landscape, and they don't always, you know, you're not necessarily going to do 6 pages of only landscape, for example. So I could potentially add my photos that way, but not overwhelming all of the pages. Okay. Put all these back so that I don't lose them. There we go. So as I've mentioned, there's the scrapbooking brochure. We have the annual catalogue that absolutely is still current. That goes till April this year. We've got the mini catalogue, so January until April. And at the moment, we've got our biggest period of excitement, I guess, in a way, is our celebration. So in this brochure, there's lots of different things that you can earn for free. You can order from any of these products, from any of these catalogues, and online exclusives. And you will also purchase, you can also choose certain free items. So one of the things that I've recently got is the purple adhesive backed sequins. So look how sparkly they are. I don't know if they'll work with the project that I'm looking at now because of their purple, although these ones could potentially. But yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to use those, but I'm excited that they're there, and certainly it was free. I was placing an order anyway, so therefore the idea of being able to earn something just for free simply because you've ordered is fantastic. So if you're interested in any of these items and you don't have a current Stampin' Up! Demo here in Australia, send me a message, send me an email, have a look at my webpage here, and find my number if you like. Give me a call or a text. I can assist you with getting a catalogue to you, and I can also help you with purchases. You know, if you're not too sure what goes with what and how and all that sort of thing, let me know. I'm happy to help you. I hope this quick live is the beginning of something that will continue throughout the year. And I look forward to sharing my creations with you, and I'd love to be inspired by you as well. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks. Bye.